So the Cowboys restructured Tyron Smith, Lowell Collins, and Zack Martin. They basically created $17 million. They had to, still get under the cap a little bit because Dak's, I believe his hit for this season was 22, and I feel like they had like 15 mil. So they did have to, create some fun things with the cap to be able to get. You got to get Dak under and then create more to sign free agents, sign your draft class, which is typically like $9 million for a draft class. So, I mean, it makes sense. I don't necessarily hate it. If I was going to restructure any group, it would have been these three guys.
Yeah. Other than Tyron Smith, those other two guys are guys that I think it was just a really bad luck year for the most. And I would even argue with Tyron because Tyron up until that year had played at least 13 plus games. And that's still really, really solid for a guy you're paying that much money to. So, as long as he can play, 80, 90% of the games and be healthy for the playoffs, I'm still fine with him moving forward. And I know Mike thinks differently. But
I don't, because I think if he's injured again this season, you're cutting him. I'm just talking about...
If he has a season-end injury, sure. But if he has an injury that he can either play through or... Because he played through in 2016, played through injuries.
Yeah, but the difference
and
is,
13 and 3. In 2017, he played through injuries. In 2018, he played through injuries.
Yeah, but he still missed 3 games since 2015 every year.
No, I understand that, but why? Like, are we really acting like other than maybe quarterbacks and maybe a few special guys? A lot of guys miss games. Like, sure. I'm not saying he's not injury prone, but he's not missing half of seasons. He's missing 3 games.
He just missed 14 games.
Yeah, this was his first season missing.
Yeah, sure. He's never missed more than 3 games.
That's what I'm saying. I will give it another year to see if it. And again, if it happens, then we'll have that conversation. But right now, I'm not worried about it.
But let's just say, it is a problem because you are moving money to future years, which every team is doing at this moment. So it's not the end of the world. I do agree that you want to try to win this year, but also create opportunities in the future. Not put yourself in a bad situation where you got to cut a lot of players and kind of there's a lot of the Cowboys have given out a lot of big contracts in the past couple of seasons. So it's I think his hit is $16 million after this season. I don't know after this restructure. I'm sure it's higher.
I just want to say one thing, and you can debunk it. You can go wherever you want to go with it, but at the end of the day, there's 3 to 4 guys on that team that I trust that are going to be really, really vital to this team going forward. Yes. Dak and those 3 offensive linemen. You just signed Dak, and those 3 offensive linemen are guys that are probably going to be with your team, probably for at least, maybe Tyron Smith we'll see this year, but Zack Martin and Lyle Collins for sure for the next 3, 4, 5 years. So,
well, I would say 2 for at least 2 for Lyle Collins and Zack Martin, because you just never know.
You never know, but Zack Martin for the most part, other than last year, has not had any injury issues.
But you got to say, if Tyron Smith misses 8 games,
if he misses more than a few games, sure, but
I'm sure, yeah. If he misses 3 games, then whatever.
I think last year was just, like I said,
what was his injury?
He just had some neck issues, and I know neck injury. I get it, Mike. I see the face.
Well, look, the Cowboys wouldn't have restructured him if he wasn't.
But the thing is, it's either restructure a guy that has played through injuries, like I love Leighton Vander Esch. I love.
They don't have bad.
Whatever, but Leighton Vander Esch had a neck injury.
I know, but he's still on his rookie contract.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, there's guys that I'm more concerned about playing through injuries than Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith has played through injuries.
I'm not worried about him playing through injuries. And last year, if he's on the field, it doesn't.
And I would argue the only reason he missed much of last year when he finally did get injured was because Dak was out. Like, it was a lost year. You might as well just recover.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I think he could have played 13, 14 games last year. But anyways,
I'm a bit concerned on that point.
I'm not saying you can't be concerned. I just choose to be optimistic because I've seen how these guys do when they're completely healthy, and 9 times out of 10 in the last few years, they've played majority of the games in the season. So
I will say injuries have. This is a
longer
season.
And guess what, Mike? Injuries happen.
Injuries happen. Look, the Niners, they fell apart last season.
I'm not like you go and give 10, 15 million to a couple really good offensive linemen and they get hurt. I just rather would ride it out with this line while you can and build the defense.
do you? Because at the end of the day, they have to make sure if Tyron Smith does miss games, who's replacing him?
Terrence Steele. When Terrence Steele had to come in for spot starts, he was effective. When he had to play multiple games, he was not. So if he needs to come in for a couple games, fine. There's going to be guys that you can get in the second, third round that maybe guys you can plug in. Connor Williams was really good and effective last year. Joe Looney was really good and effective last year.
I mean, those are vets, though.
I'm just saying, there's the Cowboys thing with their offensive line. They have their four main, other than
Did Connor Williams play left tackle at some point?
He played mainly guard. Mainly guard
because he just have short arms.
He mainly played left. He mainly played left and played right guard for Zack Martin when he got hurt.
Yeah, you don't want him. Is he starting right now?
No, he's not the starter right now.
So he's a swing tackle.
He's a swing tackle right now. So anyway, the four offensive linemen that they're basically starting and going into the year with are your Lyle Collins, your Biotish, your Zack Martin, and your Tyron Smith. The fifth guy is a swing tackle. It could be Looney. It could be whoever you want it to be.
Wasn't Looney the backup center? And he can play guard
but
as well.
he can play everything. That's what I'm saying. The Cowboys, their backups, they switch guys in and out. Sometimes Tyron Smith got switched in and out.
I understand. I had Looney. We drafted him, the Niners.
Yeah, exactly. So I just choose to, like, of the one position, and since they started focusing on the offensive line, the one position group that I'm not concerned about is offensive line. I'm more concerned about linebacker. I'm more concerned about secondary and safety right now, and I'm more concerned about even the defensive line. So
I will say, though, it's on the bucket to at least draft a tackle in the first 3 rounds.
No, they will. I can guarantee you their first 3 picks will be offensive tackle, corner/safety, and either receiver or some sort of
this is the
weapon.
draft, though, to sign a not draft. Sorry, this is the year to sign a corner in free agency.
I like Brashad Breeland. Keanu Neal, I think, is going to get linked really heavy to the Cowboys because of. But safety, secondary is what we're talking about here. Breeland, Vaccaro is another guy. I mean, there's going to be some options out there if they want. And then we even just talked about Riley Reif and Zeitler. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be guys out there that the Cowboys can take a chance on. I just don't think
they're going to sign those guys because those guys are starters.
I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just saying those are, we'll see what happens.
There probably might be an option to, I think.
And this is only the first day.
We need to move on, but I do think that the Cowboys should at least fix their issues in free agency and then go into the draft with best, because they, like you stated, they do draft best players available.
Right now, what I would like to see them right now, and I was listening to,
and I'm not saying spend money. I'm saying to at least try to get value guys.
I was listening to the Blogging the Boys, Dalton Miller, Connor, and Cole, and basically there's a couple different options. Do you draft corner like Surtain, Farley, and whatchamacallit? Surtain, Farley, and who's the other one? J.C. Horn, and then mix it with maybe a tackle in the second or third round, and then sign defensive tackle in free agency. Sign
it just depends on how much money
safety. Like a couple of mid-tier guys, and then draft the rest. Or do you go for one big fish, one big defensive tackle, or whatever? I know, but these were the options that brought up, and they had different perspectives.
Sure, I think good teams typically looked for trying to get a decent player who's signing on an undervalued contract. Look, you're trying to get value.
I think
if you're paying for top gays, sorry, that's not to be offensive.
Top guys. And even then, top guys.
But anyways, no disrespect to anyone. I apologize.
We're fine.
I think they should, for them specifically, the way that they have these contracts built out, they really should be signing guys to win 2-year deals. They really shouldn't sign any more long-term deals at the moment.
No, I would agree 100%. And even in a non-pandemic year, I would think the same. Most of the guys they sign, you can look at the guy that they signed from the Patriots last year, the offensive lineman. You can look at Marshall, or you can look at Benson Mayowa from years past.
The problem is, when you sign backup offensive linemen, they're typically just not good. There's a reason
I understand that, but as long as you have two, possibly,
I would rather draft offensive linemen.
I'm not saying I'm not saying there won't. I'm just saying I'm not. I still am. Again, if they take an offensive tackle in the first round, I won't be mad at it, but I won't be happy about it.
You're just it's like when the 49ers drafted Kinlaw.
And it's not that might not be a position in a year or two. It's that you have Like, unless Tyron Smith, Leo Collins, and Zack Martin get hurt, that guy's probably not seeing the field.
He'll probably see the field at some point.
Like, if you take Slater, he would need Tyron Smith or Leo Collins going down again to start, and it very well could happen.
Your center?
But you're not banking on that. Biotish, and he was healthy all last year once he started. He's probably He's probably replacing Frederick. He's a stud. Tyler Biotish out of I think Wisconsin or Nebraska. He's a stud. He is
Nebraska.
Really good.
Both those teams typically come out. Well,
no,
Nebraska always
the Cowboys have found really good centers in the last few years. I applaud them for that. But one last thing I want to say here is, like I said, offensive tackle is a position that I think you can get by this year and then figure it out next year. Corner, safety, and linebacker and defensive tackle are more positions that I'm really concerned. I'm more concerned about the defense than the offense, basically.
So we typically, if we talk about the Cowboys, we always go on a little bit of a...
I'm just very passionate about. I'm not saying no offensive tackle in the first round, but 9 times out of the only guy I'm willing to take. There's 2 guys I'm willing to take at 10 if they're there, and that's Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater. If they're not there, you avoid that until the second, third round.
I don't know.
Period.
I like Tucker. I don't
hate Tucker. I just don't think he's Slater or
no. But I think he's
Sewell.
he's a good player regardless. You could put him at guard. You could put him at center.
Now,
you could put him at tackle.
I will caveat this, and I know we're kind of gone on a little bit of a
move
crazy here. But last thing I'm going to say, and I swear this is the last thing I'm going to say, if you wanted to trade back and say a team wants to take a quarterback at 10, then you could go ahead and trade back a few spots. Say with the Niners, say with the who's at 14 or 15 that could be interested in a quarterback. There's a few teams there. Patriots. And you go back a few spots, and then if one of those tackles is still there,
Steelers.
You take them.
How far back are you willing
and then
to
you
go?
can use those. I'd say anywhere from. I'd say anywhere from 11 to 15, probably.
You wouldn't go to 20.
20 if you got a really good haul.
If you're gonna draft the DN though,
but basically
that would be a good spot.
But basically, my bigger point is you go get a corner in the second or third round, or maybe trade back up in the first with those picks, with the comp picks. If you really wanted to get a corner that's there, like a Newsome or a Melifanu.
Newsome's starting to rise.
There is a lot of options, but I'm just saying if you stay at 10, most likely it's a corner. It's Surtain or Farley or J.C. Horn. Anyways, we can get off that topic now. We don't have to go anymore.